35 years ago, in 1989, the world would be graced with the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, a show that still holds some relevance today, being referenced in the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
We're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame.
When your sinker's in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers.
And believe it or not, still exists in the collective unconscious, even today through the various memes that spawned from it. One of these memes is actually from a Zelda portion of the show. Link saying,
Hey, excuse me, princess.
The show would run Monday to Friday every week and always consist of two portions. An animated Mario cartoon and a live-action cartoon with these guys doing whatever it is they were doing that day. Seriously, it's quite a trip. Might need to talk about that another day. However, every Friday, the Mario cartoon would be flipped to something else, a weekly Zelda cartoon. Now you gotta understand that being made in 1989, the show didn't have the grand lore of the Zelda series to pull from as it would today. The games that did release by this point, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, aren't exactly known for their grandiose stories. I'm going to butcher a lot of names coming up probably. There are three main contributors mentioned as the showrunners, those being John Gruzd, who had never played a Zelda game in his life and had to learn how to play the games, including a Japanese copy of Zelda 2 as that game wasn't out yet when production on the show began, but admits that he took to the games really well and in an over-exaggerated manner states he could probably beat each in 2 minutes, which is factually impossible of course. Phil Harnage was in charge of creating the series' Bible. If you don't know, when a Bible is created for a show like this, it usually details the background story and characters for the writers to stick to. You can do pretty much anything with the plotlines as long as it's coherent with the Bible. Phil would get to write 2 episodes himself and mentions that the characters' tension with one another made them fun to write for. Bob Forward, lead writer and story editor for the show, also had never played a Zelda game, and he mentions his only research was a playthrough of the original Zelda game on a VHS tape, and that's all the research he did. He was mostly left to his own devices on writing episodes, and would regularly involve family members in the process. There's about 200 minutes of runtime, so I'll be speeding through the episodes while also trying to be as thorough as possible. There is a surprising amount to unpack though, so let's begin. Oh, and of course there will be a montage of all the times Link says "Excuse me, princess" or a variation thereof at the end. So don't worry, I'll give it the respect it deserves. Let's get the intro out of the way first.
This is the Triforce of Wisdom, Link. The evil wizard Ganon has the Triforce of Power.
It gives a quick overview of what you need to know about the show and its own lore, because it's not exactly consistent with the Zelda series as a whole. Hyrule is locked in a war for the land of Ganon's Underworld, and whoever controls both Triforces, yes I said both, Triforce of Courage didn't exist yet, controls the land. Aside from Ganon's attacks though, it's a time of relative peace.
Nice job, hero!
Hey, excuse me, princess.
The first episode introduces us to the main characters in the show, starting with Link, who seems to be a somewhat generic action hero with a heart of, well, not gold, that's for sure.
Looking good, princess, especially from this angle.
Oh!
The Moblins show up, who I thought were surprisingly dog-like in the show, but then I remembered that Moblins are kind of weird as they started as dogs in the Zelda universe, but turned into pigs over the course of the Zelda series. Just thought that was a neat bit of trivia. Moving on. Also, they talk.
Hold it while I get the Triforce.
After a 2-minute long action sequence that makes painfully clear the show's stance on actually using a sword as a sword, Link immediately goes in for the kill and...
Ow!
Don't you ever whistle at me again!
Excuse me, princess.
We're in, boys!
This is the 3rd attack by Ganon this month. We'll have to be on our guard.
I'm assuming this means it's basically a weekly occurrence by this point, and yet we leave Link as the only real guard of the Triforce of Wisdom. Seems reasonable. So Zelda is going to judge a magician contest, and Ganon's evil plan for this episode is obviously to enter the amateur magician's contest.
I shall enter that contest.
The Triforce of Power tells Ganon he's not an amateur, and I'm sorry, the Triforce just spoke and apparently that's normal, okay.
But you're no amateur. You're a pro.
Sprite, which is this fairy's name, flirts with Link, and this whole thing has been super uncomfortable thus far, not gonna lie.
Who cares? She's a snot. You should stick with me.
Sprite, you're only 3 inches high.
What? You don't like short girls?
But Ganon is about to make the plot engaging as he turns a small lizard into a generic green dragon to attack Zelda. I just want to point out real quick that Ganon has potentially the least convincing disguise at all time. I can really only describe it as Ganon-shaped green man. It's seriously no wonder Ganon keeps getting this close to the Triforce. Hyrule is filled with idiots. Anyways, once again, instead of just stabbing the dragon, Link proceeds to jump off the green dragon, gets blasted with fire, and complains he can't get a clear zap. So at this point, I'm convinced Link is a very confused swordsman. Even if he wasn't going to stab the dragon, he was already in a very, very good position to get what he refers to as a clean zap. Ganon manages to grab hold onto the Triforce, and after being read some poetry by it, I guess,
evil is the path you choose, but evildoers always lose.
Screams at it for a bit before getting in his skeleton coach and running off. I love this. Dude is perfectly capable of walking or even teleporting around himself, and just chooses to sit down and make Stalfos carry his ass.
He's getting away! We'll never catch him now!
Using knockoff Merlin's growth spell, they grow a massive plant to launch themselves forward, giving Zelda a more active action role in this show rather than being used as the standard damsel in distress princess, which I gotta say is very surprising for a show in 1989.
My kind of girl, completely crazy! Whoa! Whoa! Ta-da! Saved your life again!
With the heroes surrounded, Link does this for some reason that just boggles the mind.
I'm out of zap bolts!
Zelda runs out of zap bolts. Apparently her magical arrows are a finite resource. This is of course never properly elaborated upon, and will only come up in times when it's convenient for the action sequence to keep going. Otherwise, expect magic to be an infinite resource. Link almost gets his kiss in the end, which will be a recurring goal for him, but fairy companion Sprite, who is of course also super into him, prevents this from happening. And that's the first episode. For a first episode, it was alright. It sets up the tone and rules for the world pretty well, though aside from that, there wasn't really much going on. A very simple evil guy shows up, evil guys defeated, status quo is restored type episode. Most of the episode's runtime is dedicated to 3 action sequences though, leaving almost no space for the characters to show who they are in relation to one another. I did come out of this episode surprised though, the musical score is really good. I found the compositions got stuck in my head a lot throughout the day after watching a few episodes. I actually kinda like the intro to this episode. The plot starts really quickly and I feel like Link and Zelda actually have a little bit of chemistry here. With Zelda not outright throwing out Link's advances, and Link's advances being significantly less pervy, for now at least, Ganon hasn't attacked in a while, and Zelda takes the opportunity for some spring cleaning, forcing Link to help. Link, of course, doesn't want to.
Link's corner is disgusting.
Orderly ways do not make one brave, and neatness does not a kingdom save.
I really like how the Triforce of Wisdom is actually defending Link's sloppy nature, since he does still routinely save the kingdom despite it all. An enemy attacks, but Zelda straight up chokes it for a while in Link's dirty laundry pile, which is probably the most brutal thing this show is ever going to see.
Phew.
Zelda!
Link!
Oh boy, smooching time!
Ah!
Oh!
Aren't you supposed to be cleaning the kitchen?
Don't pick on Link. He's sick.
I'll say.
Okay, yeah, I'll admit, I got a chuckle out of this one.
Phew!
Ganon hears about the cleaning thing, and he plans to do something. It's kind of unclear. Afterwards, Sprite is outside and gets zapped by Ganon, and I'm still not sure what the plan is, but she brings Link an orange to help him feel better. So it turns out, Ganon's evil plan of the week is, through Sprite, take over all the cleaning equipment, and because Link instantly leaves his post at any given opportunity, well...
Ganon!
The Triforce!
No shit, Sherlock. So they go to follow Ganon into the Underworld, Sprite joining because she feels guilty. Is this ye all the depths of Hyrule? I'm pretty sure this means Ganon wins, right? Like the whole thing is that if you have them both, you win?
The 2 Triforces side by side. Nothing stands in my way now. You'll regret that, princess!
Wait, so is Ganon just dead now, or what?
Zelda, Sprite, let's get out of here!
Wait, if we could get the other Triforce.
No time!
I actually enjoyed episode 2 a lot more. There wasn't as much of the perving Link going on, but I'm noticing a running theme is that half the episode is action segments that just don't tend to add something to the plot. Overall though, after episode 2, I am a lot more curious to see where this goes, ranking this one over the ringer.
It's still spring cleaning time and we're starting with my room.
But I have a cold coming on.
Me too.
Get moving.
Episode 3 starts with Link talking about how the people of Hyrule all seem to use magic, and Zelda confirms that's why Ganon wants it. Of course, I find this rather amusing coming from Link, a guy who treats his sword as a ray gun. Right on cue, Ganon's minions attack. Oh no! This goes on for 3 minutes straight. It's fine, I'll just be skipping through most of it though. Magical bows still run out of zapples. I still don't know how, but I've learned not to question things.
Whoa! Loot! Now for that ruby!
Wait, Ruby?
You want it? It's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rubies.
Things honestly aren't going too great for our heroes until this Chad comes around, a prince from another country who, of course, instantly flirts with Zelda. Okay. His name is Facade, that's probably not a red flag or anything.
Sorry, Link, I can't give credit. Come back when you're a little, richer.
Huh? Farewell!
And they ride off. Now for Ganon's plan, a very well crafted and not at all insane plan. He knows who Facade is, so all he needs to do is wait for Link to get annoyed enough to leave, and then get Prince Facade dirty.
No! Mud!
That's legitimately his evil plan. And yes, it actually works.
Sorry, Princess, no can do, I'm afraid. These are my hero clothes, and heroes simply do not get dirty.
What?
The moment Zelda is in trouble, of course, Link instantly turns back. But at least he confirms his own stupidity.
Oh, heck. I'm such a sucker. Yes.
Link saves Zelda, Zelda pushes Facade into the mud, the end. This episode takes a really long time to get going. Each episode is about 14 to 15 minutes long, and it takes a full 10 minutes for the plot to finally get Link out the house, so to say. Because of this, the rest of the episode, Zelda's kidnapping and Facade's refusal to help, Link's return, and a satisfying conclusion, all need to happen in the last 4 minutes of the episode, which they pull off for sure, but it's also the most enjoyable part of the episode. It showcases Link's care for Zelda and his heroic nature, which works to reaffirm the character he is. Despite flaws, he's still a good guy, opposite to Prince Facade, who looks like the good guy and acts like it until being called to action. It works, it's just a shame it's all jammed into very small pockets because we needed scenes like Link taking a bath and the 3-minute long opening brawl. Better than The Ringer, absolutely worse than Cold Spells. The first thing to note is I actually went back and checked the writing credits on the previous 3 episodes. Episode 1 and 3 are written by Bob Forward, with 2 and 4 written by Phil Harnage. So after episode 2, I immediately have higher hopes for this episode. Link is still asleep, ditching a date with Zelda. Zelda is annoyed, but eager to go save a random woman who is being attacked by a Gleeok. Zelda is genuinely kind of a badass in this one, and when Link shows up, this shows how well Link and Zelda work together despite the sass between them. They're sassy co-workers, and I love them for it. Unfortunately for Link, the woman they just saved was actually a Gibdo working together with the Gleeok to trick Link into getting magicked into a frog boy. There's this humorous exchange between Zelda and the Gibdo woman before Link shows up about how she doesn't want to get saved by Zelda, and it's just kind of funny to be honest.
This is all wrong. Beautiful maidens are supposed to be rescued by handsome heroes, not other beautiful maidens.
Well, hey! Pardon me!
I want to be rescued by a handsome hero!
So, Link is turned into a frog, complete with funny voice of course, and the two share a moment together with Zelda reaffirming Link that she wouldn't leave just because he looks different now.
sorry.
I'll never be able to face anyone again. I'm a monster.
I've seen worse. Hey, you still have me. I'll always be your friend.
Thank you, Zelda.
Which is cut short because Ganon is kidnapping Zelda. Dang. So Link and Sprite go and find a cure for the frog spell, and of course it is to be kissed by a princess, so Zelda, of her own free will. So nothing really changes. Link has to go back to Ganon anyway, who is now also perving on Zelda. Okay then, why? So it turns out Sprite is a princess, which Sprite knew, but despite her clear affection towards Link, she didn't just do it right there on the spot. I'm so confused with the plot. The episode basically ends there too, by the way, nothing else really happens. What I don't understand is that in episode 1 and 2, Ganon was all about the Triforce, but now in episode 3 and 4, he's trying to kidnap Zelda instead. Not quite the high of episode 2, but I think this is so far my second favorite episode. Unfortunately, this is also Phil's final episode on the Zelda series, but he will continue writing for the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3, and the Super Mario World cartoon, and end up being credited for the infamous Mama Luigi episode. A great legacy for sure.
That's Mama Luigi to you, Mario!
This episode wastes no time bringing my least favorite element into the fray, that being Ganon and Link trying to get Zelda to kiss them, which her dad is totally okay with and even gives him the advice to bring flowers, which actually works. I'll be honest, that got me laughing, so either 5 episodes in, my humor has broken down completely, or this has its moments.
What are you up to, Link? I was, just gonna swing in through your daughter's window and try to get her to kiss me. No?
No. You'll need to take flowers.
Flowers? Right! Thanks! Good luck, my boy! Yeah!
Ganon decides to kidnap the king this time, which sure works. The king is interesting. He keeps judging Ganon for being a big meanie, and it honestly works. He's just adorable.
I say, that wasn't nice at all. Really, that was quite impolite.
Silence, prisoner! No, King Harkinian is my prisoner!
Wait, King Harkinian? So the CDI games didn't pull that name out of their ass?
Enough. My ship sails in the morning. I wonder what's for dinner.
I like this scene of them touching statues, activating them as enemies. It's a good callback to the first Zelda game.
Don't touch the statues.
Why?
Is this Ye Olde Chic? So episode 5, I feel mixed on this one. It has the good character moments that episode 2 and 4 have, and it's definitely my favorite of the Bob Forward episodes so far, and my second favorite overall. Going over Kiss and Tell but under cold spells, King Harkinian is shaping up to be my favorite character so far. The Hyrule duo is going for a picnic. The two get horny almost instantly, surprise surprise, only to be stopped by the ground rising up to Ganon's influence. Wait a damn second.
I've heard of bugs at a picnic, but this is ridiculous!
Really? That's the best you could come up with? Holy Hylia, he's actually slashing with a sword. Wow, that was almost the most brutal thing in the show so far. At this point, I'm just convinced the show will end the second they actually do kiss. Zelda is angry about, I guess, getting cock-blocked repeatedly and decides to take the fight to Ganon herself. Something even Link himself is just genuinely confused by.
Looks like Ganon's got some new magic.
Oh! And I'm fed up! We're going to have a showdown with that evil wizard!
We are? You sure you want to go after Ganon?
Definitely! I'm tired of Ganon's evil attacks! If we can get both Triforces again, Ganon will be defeated forever!
Zelda actually does have a great point here, until you consider why are they bringing the Triforce of Wisdom? What's the point of that? That sounds stupid.
It's sinking!
And Daddy and Sprite are in it!
Okay, they couldn't have predicted that, but I guess that works. What was your plan there, Link?
You know what what I like about you, Link? Your delicate touch.
Excuse me, princess.
Okay, but really, what do you like about him then? It only ever seems to be sarcastic. You know, logically speaking, Ganon should have won right here, but sure.
That, to me.
Wait, the Triforce has the power to make stairs?
The castle! It's going back up!
We have to get the Triforce of power!
No time!
Link, what do you mean, no time? The conflict could end here, it's free for the taking, and you can just go back the way you came?
Save the day, my boy. Good show.
I figure I deserve a kiss for that, don't you?
Eh? Oh, well, I suppose, if you insist.
Oh, bless you, King Arcinian, you're still the best character for the show. This episode is dumb and kind of frustrating to watch. Of all 6 episodes I've watched so far, it's definitely not the worst. That honor continues to go to episode 1, but it very easily would have been the worst episode if not for episode 1. I don't know, there's just nothing here, and it's so frustrating how they keep inventing the dumbest reasons for not grabbing the Triforce of Power. There wasn't even really a reason this time. Gah, I'm complaining about a cartoon from 1989, whatever. So there's this chat of a Moblin climbing up, while Link is whistling the Mario theme song.
Huh?
I take it back, he's not a chat, he kinda sucks. Leaves a force field ring though, I'm sure that will come in handy in exactly 10 minutes and 40 seconds. So the Moblin fails and is reprimanded, and this takes up like 20% of the episode's runtime, and there's practically no plot until Ganon decides to use a magic he's been saving. The magic turns into a magic mirror, though not the magic mirror we all know and love from the later games. I like how she asks,
Huh? Where did this come from?
I thought you ordered it.
No, it wasn't me. I wonder where it came from.
and then proceeds to use it without thinking it might be a trap. You know, I would have expected Dark Link, but I didn't expect Dark Zelda of all things. I'm gonna call her Nelda from now on. But if there's one thing this show is insanely good at, it's shaking up Zelda norms that hadn't been invented yet. This Moblin instantly ruins the entire plan for some unexplainable reason.
Good. Because you, me, and the Triforce are going to go, attack Ganon.
This would have been a way more suspicious plan if she hadn't literally decided to do this out of anger for the situation just one episode ago. Maybe less stepping though, who am I kidding, he likes it. When Link finds out Nelda has no reflection, he's immediately made aware of the situation, then proceeds to not have a plan going in anyway. And now, Zelda, I leave you completely unattended. Oh, I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep that. So Zelda escapes, runs into Nelda and Link kissing again, and since Link is far too preoccupied with trying to explain that, Nelda instantly gets away. What the hell does Nelda?
Don't you ever do that again without telling me!
Zelda? Oh no!
Link! Stop this imposter!
Afraid there's only one way to tell you two apart. A kissing contest!
A kissing contest, of course.
Ooh-wee! Very good! Next. Ow! That's my Zelda, alright.
The whole thing kind of falls apart at the end. Nelda's destroyed, the Triforce berserp back up, Ganon is knocked out by rubble, and they just fly off. Honestly, this episode was bad. Probably the worst one so far. It had pretty good potential, but the Nelda plotline is super short and it might as well not be Nelda, since Link is convinced for all of 2 minutes. Sorry, Eve. Stick to biker mice from Mars. Wait, what just happened? Is it over? Okay, true story for this one. I completely spaced out while watching this episode because I was just so bored. I had to rewatch this one 2 more times in order to get the full picture of the episode. Not because so much happens, but the opposite. So little happens in it, it was too difficult to keep my attention up.
2 hours later.
Okay, to summarize this episode, 3 Fairies fly into the Triforce Chamber during a moment of Link's sleep perving on Zelda, with the intent to blow it into pieces so they can bring it back home to Ganon as it would normally be too heavy for them. Link and Zelda manage to retrieve one shard, and sticking a compass onto it makes it point to the right location where the other shards are, so Link and Zelda then get the Triforce back in what is effectively an episode-long action sequence. This episode in particular gets really egregious about adding magical powers to the Triforce of Wisdom, which, yeah, it's a Triforce, but it's starting to get to a point where I'm wondering why it needs to be protected in the first place, or why they even keep it whole. Wouldn't it be much better to keep it split between Zelda and Link? My notes literally say this, and I have no idea what I meant by this. Starting to wonder if I'm getting brain damage watching this. Nothing episode, bottom of the list.
Zelda loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. Ah, stupid flower.
Help! Somebody help me!
Whoops, it's hero time.
Link fights the local ruffians to save a guy with a bent long nose. The guy is clearly evil and gives him a clearly evil or bad sword, I'm not sure yet. And through the power of boners...
Yes, but this sword is much better. For instance, it makes whoever carries it irresistible to ladies. If you know what I mean.
Even princesses?
Especially princesses.
Help me! It's a deal! Oh boy!
Link basically gets his own sword stolen. The new sword is of Ocarina of Time Giant's Knife quality and breaks practically immediately. Having no sword means trouble, although I'm confused as to why, since I'm pretty sure he has like a gazillion boomerangs, magical boomerangs. But okay, Link and Zelda get captured. Sleazenose, this guy's name is Sleazenose by the way, tries to sell the sword to the evil king and gets locked up alongside Link and Zelda for his troubles, so a reluctant team-up occurs. They manage to break out in an action sequence that's a bit different for once since it doesn't just involve laser beams, kinda like this one. Getting back to the castle, oh hey, Sprite, I almost forgot she was a character for a bit there.
How can we stop him?
When magical means will not suffice, use natural means as your device.
Right! Do you know what the Triforce is talking about?
Sure. You see, Ganon has more magic power than we do right now, so we can't fight him with magic. We have to use natural weapons.
You mean, like, bugs and stuff?
No, like actual swords. Swords stab things. That could work. Oh, whatever.
Exactly.
Then there's an absurdly long montage of them setting up the bugs and stuff. Seriously, this lasts minutes. Ganon is rather stupid, but at least he's trying to use the sword as a sword. Against bees, but still. The plan works somehow, but Sleazenose and his sleazy nose try to steal the Triforce. Thankfully, magic exists, and he just stole an ant box instead. Another episode driven by complete stupidity on the part of all 3 main characters, and where's my boy Harkinian? At least they remembered Sprite, she hasn't been an important character since episode 5 or so. With that said though, despite being motivated by stupidity, I did think this one was alright. It was kind of fun seeing them work with obviously sleazy Sleazebag McGee over here. I think that's where the show tends to find its best moments, having a secondary character interact with the main duo, since the interactions between those two will always be the same no matter what. Going under the White Knight. Ganon hasn't attacked in weeks, so Link is told to do chores instead of bum around the castle all day every day. This leads him to run into the magical handyman, with which magical hijinks ensue as he makes a garbage golem come to life. The Moblins end up attacking and he ends up defeating them, but then he asks for fake Moblins so that Zelda can believe his story was real.
Could you, like, make up some fake Moblins that look real, I mean?
Well, I suppose so.
But Zelda overhears him and isn't going to believe the extremely rare occurrence of Ganon simply sending more troops, like a good warlord would do.
Moblins.
Huh? Aren't you scared?
Why should I be?
Hey, guys, you're going a little too far.
So Zelda gets taken away and... I feel like I've seen this before. Zelda is given a controlling necklace and will now marry Ganon. Ganon is honestly hilariously excited about this. Good for him, he's living his weird pig wizard monster dreams. Is that the Reaper? No, I'm choosing to ignore this. Instead, why do cartoon villains always try to still go through with the ceremony? Especially when the guy wedding them is also always a cartoon villain. At that point it's just for show, you know? I completely blacked out during the action sequence, but Link saves Zelda. Zelda blames Link for the whole thing, which... yeah, I guess. And they all live happily ever after. The end. Wait, there's 3 more episodes. Dang it. Going under Doppelganger, I just really couldn't care about this episode.
Eh? What? Oh, yes, hot, most certainly.
King Harkinian! Summer in Hyrule, so the king decides to build a royal water park. Sprite is mentioned to be on vacation, so I guess that explains her absence at least, except no, she was there in episode 9. The building of the water park is interrupted by evil water monsters. What an unpleasant surprise.
I'm all wet.
Speaking of all wet, where's our local hero? He should be hearing this.
Ta-da! You called for a hero, princess?
Yes, but I guess you'll have to do.
The sass on this woman. She's not wrong, but she's also not much better herself, you know. Kenyon is such a goof. He gets kidnapped and he'll probably just be vibing wherever it is he ends up. Nothing phases this man.
Please, Triforce. My father has been captured, but we don't know who did it or where he is.
To find your father, royal daughter, you must search beneath the water.
You know, Triforce, you could just say where he is instead of speaking in riddles, since you clearly know. So it turns out the water monsters were simply the defense mechanism of the Fairy Fountain's water, which was accidentally being used by Harkinian's water park. So with everything settled, Link almost gets his kiss, but then Sprite conveniently returns from vacation and ruins it for him. Overall, this episode was actually pretty fun. I'm realizing now that King Harkinian being a complete goof tends to have something to do with how much I enjoy the episode. But Ganon also being completely absent again was a nice change of pace. It's kind of annoying when a show like this forces the same characters time and again with nothing new to set the dynamic apart. So changing up the characters tends to work wonders. Going over Sing for the Unicorn. Marcia, wherever you are, you did good on this one. Two more episodes to go. This episode opens up with possibly the most aggressive raid from Ganon's troops yet. Zelda is almost sent to Ganon's, evil jar. I feel like I neglected to say this, but when Link kills an enemy, they get sent to the evil jar and they don't die or anything. The evil jar? The evil jar. Zelda deflects it and accidentally hits Link, so he becomes the missing link, and instead of fighting at an advantage, Ganon leaves.
Why work so hard?
Link turns into a spirit and only Zelda appears capable of seeing him. Sounds familiar?
But we've got to get your body back from Ganon.
Don't tell me you only love me for my body.
So this is the Zelda action hero episode, even though she does plenty of action already. Link isn't transparent in this shot. I don't think consistency is their strong suit. Also, does he actually need to dodge?
You're doing it wrong! 2 hands for a beginner!
It's kind of funny that Link says 2 hands for a beginner, but he mostly just uses it with 2 hands as well.
Don't give me that look, Link! Just do something, will you?
Link! What? Where is he?
Right here!
The scare on the Stalfos is pretty funny. I love the idea that all Ganon's goons are just a bit traumatized about having been constantly fighting against Link.
Zelda could only see Link in
So here's a funny thing that might just be a plot hole. This entire time, Sprite has been obviously in love with Link, but Sprite wasn't able to see Link.
Where's Link, Princess?
However, according to Ganon, Zelda can see Link because she's in love with him, so either Ganon isn't entirely correct, or Sprite really does only want Link for his body, which is all sorts of messed up. Or it could just be shoddy writing for the sake of the joke of Link taking it too far. It's probably that. God, why do I care so much?
Nice hat.
Oh boy, smooching time!
This was probably my favorite episode so far. Just like in Spirit Tracks, Link and Zelda play off each other really well when one is incapacitated and just has to watch. The pacing was really good, and the only real thing of it is the love plot that gives more questions than answers. I feel like this would have been a good episode to finally give Link that kiss and bookend the show that way, but I don't know what episode 13 does yet. Going at the top of the list, Cold Spells, you've been dethroned. Immediately, Ganon's minions are seen attacking the castle in a plan that will likely backfire the moment Link steps in. He is just reading a comic book, of course. I take it back, the minions are insanely awful today and are beating themselves up. Link, who has successfully done nothing.
Boy, I'm good.
He's just like me. With the plan failed, the goons decide that they can mutiny against Ganon, after which they will do the evil things themselves? Ganon's new capture staff creates perfect prisons only breakable by the Triforce, and immediately the goons decide to use it to revolt. Ganon is now stuck in his own invention and in the bottomless pit. I guess that ends Ganon? Oh, who am I kidding? All the goons are able to leave the evil jar at once, and one of the Moblins immediately breaks the staff, meaning nobody gets to use it. Whoops. The first thing the goons want, revenge on Link and Zelda. Surprisingly, they actually decide to stage a full frontal assault. The head Moblin, I'll call him Steve, keeps messing everything up, so Zelda and Link just leave. It's not like they're needed here anyway.
Ganon's gone?
Let's go get his Triforce! Come on, there's an old Underworld entrance in the dungeon. Oops, sorry, almost forgot.
Link and Zelda accidentally free Ganon because Link is stupid, so they don't manage to grab the Triforce of Power when it was literally free to do so. It's also kind of implied that he did so less than accidentally, so that he could keep being the hero. Kind of shitty, but in this economy, I don't blame him. Link's main takeaway?
Oh well, at least I still have a job.
Good on you, Link. This last episode takes a pretty similar approach to episode 12, that being a shake-up of the status quo leading to an adventure of a different variety. Ganon is still very much here, but he's in limbo for most of it and really only used sparingly. I think flipping episode 12 and 13 would have been better in hindsight, 35 years later, since episode 12 lends itself very well to a season/series finale with all the setup, but I don't think the writers were concerned about the order these were to be watched in at all. That won't stop me from talking about it though. Going over Kiss and Tell. And that's all the episode, which makes the final ranking Underworld Connection, Hitch in the Works, Doppelganger, The Ringer, That Sinking Feeling, Stinging a Stinger, The White Knight, Kiss and Tell, The Moblins Are Revolting, Sing for the Unicorn, Fairies in the Spring, Cold Spells, The Missing Link. Overall, watching the show, I was pleasantly surprised. I went in with the lowest of expectations, but what I ended up finding was a show that was charming in its own right. Sure, half the episodes were kind of nothing episodes, but I did genuinely enjoy the other half quite a bit. Most episodes did have something to enjoy, and I think had there been a sequel series, as was apparently intended with The Adventures of Link, I think a status quo shakeup could have made the show actually just kind of good. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this little dive. While the title implies you don't have to watch the show, I kind of do suggest watching it if you have the time to spend on it. It's not that bad. Many thanks to everyone supporting the channel through Patreon, YouTube members, or even just subscribing and liking the videos. And I'll see you next time, but for now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Hey! Excuse me, princess! Excuse me, princess! Well, excuse me, princess! Hey, excuse me, princess! Hey! Excuse me, princess! Well, excuse me! Excuse me, princess!
Excuse me, princess.
Excuse me, princess! Well, excuse me, princess! Well, excuse me, princess! Hey!
excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me again, princess. Excuse me, princess. Hey, excuse me, Hey, excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess. Hey, excuse me, princess. Well, 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 excuse me, princess. Wow. Excuse me, princess. Excuse me, princess.